and make those embers glow. I'm on my way, and I don't skip a beat. I can't help it, I've got happy feet. So good, I do what I want and it's understood. There's no stopping me when I'm doing my thing. I'm doing my thing. I'ma do me. You know what I mean. I'm on fire. I'm feeling glad there's a spark in my soul. Feel my heart go zing. I'm clapping my hands and I'm pulling these strings. No stopping me when I'm doing my thing. I'm doing my thing. I'ma do me. I'ma do me. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. I'm on fire. Yes, I am. I'ma do me. I'ma do me. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. I'm on
hold me down. I'm steady walking like I got 3 commas in my bank account. Living loud, so get your cameras out. I'll probably do the same thing if I was you. Looking at me now, now. Put up your lights and keep them flashing. Don't ever put them down, down, down. Look at me now. Look at me now. Look at me now. Good God, I'm looking sweet. Right now I'm feeling like a slice of heaven, and you wanna sink your teeth in me. And the way that I move my feet, it's like I got this whole world spinning round to the rhythm of my heartbeat. Put up your lights and keep them flashing. Don't ever put them down, down, down. Look at me now. Look at me now. Look at me now. Look at me now. I feel so good. I feel so money. I feel so good. I feel so money. Look at me now. Look at me now. Look at me now. Look at me now. I feel so good. I feel so money. Look at me now. So good. I feel so money. Look at
I can't seem to focus, and you don't seem to notice I'm not here. I'm just a mirror. You check your complexion to find your reflections all alone. I had to go. Can't you hear me? I'm not coming home. Do you understand? I've changed my plans, 'cause I'm in love with my future. Can't wait to meet her. And I'm in love, but not with anybody else. Just wanna get to know myself. I know supposedly I'm lonely now. No, I'm supposed to be unhappy without someone, but aren't I someone? You're so handsome, but I know better than to drive you home. 'Cause you'd invite me in, and I'd be yours again. But I'm in love with my future, and you don't know her. And I'm in love, but not with anybody here. I'll see you in a couple years.
It's been a little while since I've looked in your eyes and walked that bridge to the other side. Mama says it's gonna get cold in the night, but if I picture you, then I'll be alright. I am ready. I am ready for you to be here. It's been a little while since I held your hand, so my arms won't stretch to your distant lands. Give me every person in the whole wide world, and I'll pick you out in a second, girl. I am ready. I am ready for you to be here. For you.
Hello, we are live, ladies and gentlemen. So tonight's DJ, Mark Juan. I'm gonna have a lot of fun tonight. Yeah, I started the entry a little early today so that I can start watching this video with you and do a reaction with you at 10 o'clock. My apologies. Initially, I was going to do this at 9 p.m., but I forgot about picking up my son from his swimming lesson in the Sunday evening, so I had to quickly change that. So my apologies. Now, if you guys can hear my voice, how the audio visuals okay before I start? Everybody okay there? All right, can you guys see me okay? Audio's all right. Hey, fan. Hey, Kevin Yang. All right, so if you guys all good, please shout out, and then we're going to start the case, okay? All right, sounds good. All right, so I'm going to introduce somebody, speaker of tonight. Okay, I'm going to go picture in picture. Okay. Wow, if we're joining from Las Vegas. Hey Kevin, hey fan. All right, awesome. Okay, all good. Ming, hey Ming, haven't seen you for a long time, buddy. Okay, all right, thanks for joining the late coffee show. Fantastic. So tonight's keynote speaker is another amazing Gosu surgeon from South Korea, Seoul, Korea. South Korea has a noodles of amazing Gosu surgeons, because like I mentioned last time, South Korea has the highest implant surgery being done per capita. Okay, per capita, I think it's like 10 times more than in Canada, and almost like 90% of all general dentists place implants in South Korea. So, and I met Dr. Cho when I was invited to do a speaking at a Hyosun Symposium. There was a period of time where, as many of you guys already know, a period of time where I switched over to Nobel to Hyosun, I think about 12 years ago or so. Okay, yeah, and whoa, somebody from New Zealand here joining. Fantastic. Okay, Peter Kim. That's the one place I really want to visit someday in the future. When this pandemic's over, I'm going to request a MegaGen headquarters for me to send to New Zealand and Australia to lecture there. Okay, I'm going to bring my wife and my daughter, Alice, my 3-year-old, so that we can see the kangaroo, okay, run around in the wild. I promised her. Anyways, go back to it. And Dr. Cho and I had a chance to share the podium, and I've got to see him do a live surgery. I would think this was in Shanghai. He was doing live surgery in front of thousands of people. Of course, it was through the Wi-Fi connection, and he did a crystal sinus approach. And at that time, casket was like the real deal. Like, you know, casket is still very, very popular, but 10 years ago, guys, like, that really changed the game, both for practicing implant dentist and also as an educator like myself, having, you know, when we introduced casket to the world, and how easily one can train the dentist, and the dentist who learn casket can perform a simple sinus grafting, you know, the next weekend, right? So, and Dr. Cho was in that front line, you know, doing a lot. He was traveling around the world like every weekend. Like, you know, he lectured like 30 to 40 times every weekend internationally, and that's amazing. And he was such a gifted surgeon, and he was such a joy to watch him. And I actually learned quite a lot from this amazing surgeon, Dr. Cho Yong-seok. So I'm super excited, and just give a background story about tonight's session. Is this video is actually a celebratory a lecture that he has reached the milestone of a 5,000 sinus surgery. That's a lot of surgery, okay? I was trying to count myself how many sinus surgeries have I done in my almost 25 years of career, and I calculated, And if I place about 20,000 implant up to today, and let's say 20% of those cases in the sinus grafting, that's about what, 3,000, 4,000. So I'm getting there too, but he is a one step above myself, I have to admit. Okay, so this is a 1 hour video that he put it out there, and it was live recorded, and I'm going to watch it with you tonight. Okay, so hope you guys enjoy it. It's Dr. Cho Yong-seok. He's also on the right corner is a dental bean. He's some of the really amazing key opinion leader of a Hyosin, like Dr. Cho and Dr. Chun in Sung, and there's a few of them. They have moved out of the corporate lecture circuit, and they formed their own non-biased lecture circuit. Is called the Dental Bean. It's an online program, and there's amazing contents there. Unfortunately, a lot of them are in Korean. Dr. Cho is one of those very few that actually speaks English pretty good. I wouldn't say great, but he tries, and it should be understandable lecture, and he's doing this in English. So let's start. All right.
Sinus surgery in 1996. Today, I prepared a special lecture to celebrate this. Please enjoy. We know that 80 to 90% of implant cases at posterior maxillary regions are candidate of sinus bone augmentation surgery. I have been placed more than 35,000 implants, and many of them are involved with sinus surgery. Today, I will present a lecture with the following topics. First, statistics and memories of my sinus bone augmentation surgery. Second, the milestone surgeries, my contribution to sinus bone augmentation surgery, the anniversary case of 5,000 maxillary sinus surgery, and the last epilogue. First, statistics and the memories of my sinus bone augmentation surgery. I started sinus surgery at 1996. Until last year.
That's interesting, because I graduated dental school in 1997, and I started my very first sinus surgery in 1997. So he's an oral maxillofacial surgeon. He's a few years older than me, but he had to spend a few more years in a residency of oral maxillofacial, so that's when he finished, was 96.
So total is more than 5,000.
Wow, that's impressive.
Statistics of sinus bone augmentation per year. Since 2009, I have been performed about 300 sinus bone augmentation surgery per year. And this is statistics of cumulative sinus bone augmentation surgeries. It took me 5 years to perform 100 sinus surgery. Next, it took me 6 years to perform 1,000 case.
I'll give you an interesting statistic, right? Because this is very similar to what I gone through as well. Amount of the sinus grafting is about roughly 20%, 15 to 20% of the implants that you do, because majority of the implants that we place in an early career is going to be posterior teeth, and when you do posterior teeth, it's either going to be upper or lower. And when you're doing a posterior maxillary area, you just don't have enough height of the implant, so you're pretty much forced to learn how to do sinus lifting. So when he says 100 sinus grafting, so you multiply by 5 times. So it took him 500 implants to do 100 sinus grafting, roughly, right? So in the initial, he wasn't doing that many implants, and I wasn't either. So there's an old saying that it takes forever to do your first 100 implants, right? And then as you'll see, exponentially,
every 1,000
you start to get more and more and more.
Okay? So it exceed 5,000.
So when he says he does about 300 sinus grafting per year, you multiply by 5. That means he does about 15 to 2,000 implants per year now.
1996, sinus surgery was not popular. I was a beginner, and
Hey Scott, good to see you.
And that time, sinus surgery was an age of ignorance and fear. There are some notable events in the history of sinus bone augmentation surgery. The first dentist who performed sinus graft was Dr. Boyne at 1960s.
Yeah, that's very famous.
In 1976, Tatum presented the technique of sinus bone augmentation.
Dr. Hill Tatum, he's a legend. He's a living legend. He still teaches from what I hear. And I need to talk about Dr. Hill Tatum and his greatness is that he was a general dentist and he really revolutionized how we approach bone augmentation. And his best pupil, the best student that he taught was the name Dr. Carl Misch. Unfortunately, the great Carl Misch, he passed away a few years ago. But Dr. Carl Misch always mentioned Dr. Hill Tatum in every lecture that I've attended. And Dr. Hill Tatum, he's just an amazing surgeon. He's one of the very first to actually, introduce lateral sinus augmentation by learning from the ENT, Caldwell Luck. He's modified it. And then, of course, later on, Dr. Carl Misch started to teach a lateral approach to a lot of general dentists. And that's where I've learned my lateral approach.
And 1980, Boyne published the sinus graft technique.
Yeah. One of the very first publication.
1994, Summers introduced the osteotome technique.
This was a crustal technique. Crystal approach, right? That's why sometimes the periodontists they refer to this as a Summers approach. But of course, Dr. Carl Misch saying that Dr. Hill Tatum was the first one to actually do it, this technique. So he jokes around saying there's a Winters approach.
In Korea, Dr. Kim Hong-gi first tried sinus graft.
Korean surgeon who's also a legend in South Korea.
Important meeting. It is a consensus conference on the sinus graft in Massachusetts Babson College. The maxillary sinus bone graft was approved as a highly predictable procedure at this conference.
See, that's the thing, right? Even now, everybody does sinus lifting. It's one of the most predictable things that we do as a dentist, and we teach sinus grafting in our general basic comprehensive implant resident 12-day program, right? It's included in that. So is the PRF and everything else too. But it's only been in 1996 that general consensus that they basically accepted in general that sinus grafting is predictable procedure. It's only 96. That was only 1 year before I graduated, right? What it means is that before that people were doing it, but there was a lot of fear around that. A lot of not a homogeneous consensus. It was that 96 conference was very monumental.
Sinus bone augmentation surgery considered as very hard and risky surgery, which was performed using extraoral bone graft under general anesthesia. So it was very difficult to perform that surgery.
We were doing a lot of body sinus harvesting back then, tuberosity,
dental hospital, or very
symphysis, hip.
Private clinics. There are several pioneers, and I learned sinus surgery from them. At 2000s, I met Kyok Choi, the CEO of Ostem Implant Company.
Do you recognize this gentleman on the bottom right in the corner that I'm circling right now? He is a CEO of Megagen, right? Dr. PKB, Park Kwang-bum. He is considered by many to be the first three legends of implant dentists in South Korea.
This fateful encounter led me to take my first step as a lecturer. Okay, this is experience of 1,000 sinus bone augmentation surgery. It was a leap from intermediate to expert. It was a period of improvement and era of catacyclism. At that time, there was evolution of surgical techniques and comprehensive researches on materials. Okay. 2003, Lundgren published a very interesting article. This is starting of no bone graft in the sinus. 2005, I performed the first live sinus surgery during the OSTEM meeting, and at 2006, I proclaimed the year to overcome sinus surgery.
This is important here. This is very, very interesting. And some of the things I'm going to pause the video and then give you extra information, okay? Because Dr. Cho is going through this very, very fast. And if you're not paying attention, you're going to miss the little delicate importance in between there, okay? Now, Dr. Lundgren, okay? Not many people talk about it a lot, but this publication is very, very significant because what he was saying that, okay, since from 1996, like we talked about, there was this consensus that sinus lifting is an acceptable procedure. But there really still, we didn't know what makes the bone grafting appear. Some people say it's a type of bone grafting. We used to think that we have to put an autogenous bone in order to get a predictable bone augmentation. That's why we were going to a lot of hip and chin and tuberosity with the chisels and all that stuff, right? Now you're looking at backs, a lot of it's a nonsense. But it was Dr. Lundgren at this publication, he says that he noticed that when he removed the cyst and just lifted the sinus without any bone augmentation material, he seemed to notice spontaneous bone regeneration. So what that trigger is that maybe it's not what we put in there, but what's really important is actual act of lifting the sinus and keeping it there. And that causes the bone to fill in. So that was very, very important. And what has driven the birth of one of the most significant instrument development in regards to sinus grafting, I have to say, the invention of casket by Hyosin. Crystal approach sinus kit, right? Casket. And what the casket involves is, unlike any other instruments at that time, was using hydraulic pressure to tent up the membrane. Until then, we were using osteotome mostly. I mean, there was something like a balloon technique and all that, but that was like gimmicky. We're doing mostly upfracturing the floor of the sinus and just pushing the bone in there. But casket was the first one that actually took Dr. Lundgren's idea and faithfully devised this instrument that used hydraulic pressure to able to lift it predictably, okay? And Dr. Cho performed more casket surgery during this period of time than anybody that I know.
At that time, many Korean speakers started a sinus training course.
Now there are a lot of knockoffs of those type of a casket type of things, but you know,
I first tried
this was
sinus training course
the beginning.
In Russia, in Taiwan, and India. I started sinus training course in the overseas. Okay. I experienced 3,000 sinus surgery at 2013, and it was the era of confidence, moment of leap, and the era of controversy and competition.
So what happens is, like, you guys will also learn, I totally agree with him, is that when you're in the first early phase of your implant journey, I will call it a journey because it is a journey, right? Is at the beginning you are basically emulating or copying somebody's technique, right? That's why a lot of beginners, they ask questions, what kind of bone do you use? What kind of membrane do you use? What kind of suture do you use? Because they don't know, because they're just going to copy somebody you learn from. But after a certain point, for him it's a 1,000 implant, right? It takes forever to get there. But after that, he started to gain confidence and he's trying different things based on the fundamental principle, but he's starting to develop his own technique. And he calls that a moment of leap, right? But when you do that, what happens? The rest of the world, they give a controversy. They say, oh, you're doing wrong, because my mentor doesn't do it. You should be doing this, using this bone, that bone. So that's a controversy, right? But the great ones, they don't care about controversy. They want that controversy, right? And there's a lot of, she's talking about a competition from other company making different things. But this is where the big leap happened for him as well.
The crystal approach sinus tools invented and introduced in the market. There are so many kinds. But here is a turning point. This is the Ostem casket, which is fine sinus crystal sinus surgery tool. This made the game change. This is
total game changer. Total game
After
changer.
this, a similar tool introduced in the market.
Casket was the reason why I changed from Nobel to Hyosin. When Hyosin first came to Canada, nobody was using it, right? Because implant market at that time, in early 2010, about 10 years ago, 11 years ago, it was a very, very tough market to break into. And Hyosin landed, and Sean was the president of Hyosin Canada, and they were giving away free implant. Nobody was using it. Nobody was using it. I wasn't interested. The three major ones: Astras, Nobel, Straumann. Okay, we were using those three the most, and the implants were costing $500 Canadian dollars at that time, right? But what really intrigued me was the casket. So it is the casket that enticed me to start using their system. And one thing I realized that when you use your casket, you needed a thread that can bind all the way to the top of the thread, a crest module, so that we can countersink the implant without losing the implant into the sinus. And ET3 had an exact shape that was the best match to use the casket itself. And that led to me switching over to Hyosin. I remember that moment.
Korea, at many countries, I continue the sinus training course.
Look at him. He's traveled all around the world. He was like a rock star, Dr. Cho.
Per year, I visited foreign country and trained the dentist. Okay. 2008, I introduced a CSI technique, another name, double needle irrigation technique.
Double irrigation, that's interesting. I don't know that one too well.
Okay. Then recently I experienced 5,000 sinus surgery. Okay. After 2014, I completed my sinus surgery. It is completely optimized, standardized, and simplified. Okay. This is stabilization and era of total mastery.
So it took him 3,000 sinus grafting in order to master his own technique.
Offline sinus training course in Korea and overseas. 2016, I introduced the LSPA technique. And 2017, I proposed the new terminologies for sinus bone augmentation surgery. It is SBA, CSBA, LSBA, and CLSBA. 2016, we opened the Dental Bean website. This is the online education site. Through this site, I started online lecture and continued offline lecture and webinar like this. Because of COVID-19, last year, I concentrated on online lectures. Now I can say that I'm teaching the most fine sinus surgery in the world. Okay. The milestone surgeries. Okay. I have been performed live surgery during Ostem meeting.
When you say Ostem meeting, that was Hyosin meeting. Ostem is the mother company of the Hyosin.
190 times.
Wow, live surgery 190 times.
114 case was sinus surgery case.
I mean, he's the king of sinus.
I have several milestone surgeries. The first is 2005 at Ostem meeting. That time, I performed lateral sinus surgery in this patient who missed 16 and 17. At the conference, 2,700 dentists attended. Okay, for implant was the title of newspaper. And I performed live surgery during the meeting. It was the first live surgery in Korea.
The man has a nerve of steel. He does not get nervous.
And I planned lateral sinus bone augmentation surgery. Okay, I prepared the patient, and then it was routine lateral sinus surgery. Made incision, and then expose the bone. I speed up here. Expose the bone and design the window, scored bone window. Okay. With explanation, I continue the operation. Okay. Expose the membrane and then separate the membrane. After membrane separation, I prepared the implant sites. Okay. Routine preparation was done.
This is
Then
basically
here prepared the graft material.
SA3 technique according to Misch classification, right? Lateral window with the implant going at the same time.
And with a general graft,
And typically
sinus
you
graft
need
was
about at
placed.
least a 3 millimeter of a bone height to do an
Next,
SA3.
placed the two internal
Looks like a Straumann
level
implant.
implants.
Oh no, it's a bone level. They used to make a knockoffs back then, like Straumann lookalikes.
Grafting and reposition the bone window.
This is a technique that Professor Son also uses, and this is probably out of all the lateral window approach is the most ideal. It's harder to do because if you can remove the window and lift the sinus membrane and put back the window, that can help to regenerate the bone from the lateral part in. But sometimes I cannot do this because when the wall is so thin, when you're trying to remove that wall, the membrane can tear off. So if there is enough thickness to the wall, it is totally viable. It's a good option to do, but not always possible.
And it was a strong primary stability, so I can connect the healing abutments and then approximated flap. Okay, like this. Okay, it was live surgery. I was a little bit nervous.
This was his very first surgery, he says, right?
Surgery successfully. It took me 27 minutes for this surgery. And 6 months later, bridge was relieved. Okay. This is 11 years follow-up.
11-year follow-up.
Nice bone formation in the sinus. Okay, next was 2011 in Austin, at Poland. Okay, Austin World Meeting. And that time, I again performed the live surgery in front of a European dentist. Okay, and here is the Polish dentist, and his father was the patient. He missed multiple tooth on the maxilla, and this is the panoramic view of this patient. Patient has limited bone height on the maxilla and has some problem. Radicular cyst exists and the residual cyst also exists. So I have to control everything.
So you had to take those out as well.
Surgery.
Drain one and take out
My
one.
plan was first perform epicoectomy and cyst inoculation.
Epicoectomy
Next,
is
at
remove
the right
cyst.
side, I will perform crestal sinus bone augmentation surgery using the casket, and I will place 4 implants. Left side, I will try lateral sinus surgery using the lasket, and I plan the total 8 implants. So I prepared with my assistant, and then started live surgery.
So
Okay, there are
obviously at the
3 parts here. Okay,
live demo surgery, they were trying to promote sales of the casket by doing one side casket and promote the sales of a lasket, lateral sinus augmentation kit on the left side.
Using the lasket. Okay. During the meeting, I had 1 hour for live surgery.
1 hour for whole
to
thing.
do everything, I must hurry up.
Must hurry up.
Okay.
Yeah, those Korean
Luckily,
surgeons, man,
the
they're pretty
surgery,
fast.
Was gone smoothly without accident,
Without
so I
accident.
can do everything. Okay.
That's cute.
Left side, I'm doing crestal sinus surgery. Okay. I'm separating sinus membrane with hydrolifting system.
I mean, there are great surgeons
And
in
right
Korea,
side,
but
open the
there's
lateral
only
window,
very few
and
that
then
can do this kind of
place
thing
implant I'm preparing.
in front of 2,000 people. It takes nerve of steel to do it, right? To do it in public,
Okay.
like, you know, in
At the
open.
bone graft, I placed the implant.
Because it's a
total
different
eight
ball
implant
game when
on
you're doing
right
this
and
on your
left
own
side.
office versus, you know, in front of thousands of audiences. It's a different game.
I hurried up, and then I can finish surgery in time. Okay. The full video is available in Dental Win, I think. Okay, this is POP.
He
CT
put
view.
8 implants in
As
1 hour.
I planned, I can finish the surgery. I spent 50 minutes for this surgery.
50
And
minutes.
then I presented the POP result in front of the dentist. The
Implant
response
machine.
was great. 2014, there was also a meeting, world meeting at Busan.
I'll tell you, you guys probably don't believe. When I first saw him do surgery like that, I thought, you know, I mean, he's fast. But that's unrealistically fast, right? I mean, I'm a pretty fast surgeon, right? I'm a pretty fast surgeon. And, you know, I can place, 10 to 20 implants a day, you know, without breaking a sweat. But I wanted to know what his actual productive day is. And there was a one post that he put up in his own post. There was I call it a Cho's workflow. Cho means Dr. Cho. In one day, he posted a case where he placed 52 implants in one day. 52 implants, and they were not just an easy ones either. Some of them had a sinus lifting, some of them had a lateral ridge augmentation simultaneous. The man is really a machine.
Again, I tried the live surgery. Here is a patient who missed the maxillary posterior region. Okay, this is a tracing of a panoramic view, right and left side. In close up, right side sinus is healthy, but remaining bone height is 3 to 7 millimeter, and sinus septum exists. Left premolar site, we can see narrow ridge. It looks quite narrow.
That's really
And
narrow.
left molar site, residual alveolar bone height looks 3 to 6 millimeter, but there is unknown sinus lesion, so
Yeah.
I must open
You got to drain
and
it.
identify the pathology.
Yeah.
This is my treatment plan. First, I will try right CSVA using the casket on the high-density endoscopy. Second, I will perform left LSCA
So this
using
was
the
a
basket.
monumental one because the first
I must
time
check
they actually
the
used an
pathology
endoscope
in the sinus.
through the
And
Caldwell
I must
approach,
do,
and
ridge split
he
using
lifts
the
it to
SSK,
show a bird's eye
and
view
if
of how the
necessary, I
sinus is
perform
actually
tibial
lifting.
and
He's
left
never done
premolar
before.
region. Then I will place total 6 implants. Okay, with my colleague, ENT Dr. Kim, and my staff, I started live surgery.
Wow, Dr.
Okay.
Cho used to look so young at
Here.
that time.
Look at the videos. Upper is a ridge split on the SI kit, and left side, crestal sinus bone augmentation surgery using the casket, and the right side, lateral sinus surgery using the lasket. Okay. Okay. Every site there is a risk point. I must concentrate on surgery.
You see that, how the sinus is
Okay.
lifting?
During the ridge split, I used the microsaw carefully.
This endoscope showing the lift of the
Okay.
sinus.
On the left side,
Me and
you
Dr.
can
Jim,
see
we
the
did the
successful
same
sinus
type of
membrane
surgery at a
separation
Pacific
using
Dental
the
Conference about
hydraulic
8 years
lifting
ago.
system.
But the problem was we didn't really know how to
And
use an
left,
endoscope.
right the video, we can see the mucus retention system in the sinus.
Oh, there you go, one on the left side. He's gonna drain that.
Okay.
Yeah, see that? That's what you use. Use the
So I must control the pathology of
syringe
on
to
maxillary sinus. Okay.
to suction that out.
Carefully try the ridge split on upper video. Gently use the chisel and split the ridge.
Chisel. Do you guys have any questions so far? Are you guys okay?
This video is also
Enjoying the
available
video?
in DentalBin website.
So he's doing a multiple surgery in one sitting in front of live audience, right? You know, he's doing both sides, and one of them he's using a ridge splitting with the chisels.
Because I must do many things. It was my limit during the surgery.
Hey Sang-woo, yeah, Dr. Cho's he's getting old too. Okay.
Please watch this video, full video in DentalBin website. Here is the POP radiograph. You can see the nice implant installation with sinus surgeries and a ridge split. Okay, 3 months later, I performed the second stage surgery.
So he buried it at the beginning.
Disc value was not bad, and the bone was nicely regenerated. Okay, especially premolar site, I performed ridge split and successfully
Wow, look at that.
made the bone like this. Okay. Then bridge was delivered to patient. This is 1 year and 5 months follow-up. Okay, and this is 3 years and 8 months follow-up. Okay, next, my contributions to sinus bone augmentation surgery. I devoted myself to educate sinus bone augmentation more than 15 years. In my memory, I operated more than 15 times sinus bone augmentation training course per year.
15 training
And
course per year.
clarified the principle of sinus bone augmentation and introduced the simple terminologies for sinus bone augmentation. I introduced and distributed hydro lifting system for CSBA surgery. Simplified the CSBA surgery.
yeah.
And I optimized, standardized,
Crestal
and
sinus
simplified
bone
the
augmentation,
LSBA surgery.
CSBA.
Introduced CLSBA surgery. I
Crestal
summarized and
lateral sinus
clarified
bone
the
augmentation.
diagnosis and the management of maxillary sinus pathologies. Systemized and improved the method of managing maxillary sinus complications. Especially, I introduced CSI technique to manage sinusitis.
That's the one with the double syringe, wasn't it?
Conceptualized
I don't know that one
control
yet.
During the second
Now I'm
stage
very
surgery.
curious.
I will show some of this in following lecture. What is principle of sinus bone augmentation surgery? Okay. First, separate sinus membrane sufficiently to provide space, blood clot formation.
This is the
and
most
bone
important in the
cell
principle.
supply. This is most important during the sinus bone augmentation surgery.
Because this is what is going to actually
Second,
make the bone.
Keep the space to prevent re-pneumatization. Okay, it is simple, but you must memorize this. Okay, this is very important principle of sinus bone augmentation surgery.
So the bone graft material that you put in there is just to keep the space. It doesn't turn into bone.
I proposed a new terminology for sinus surgery because of current, the past terminology looks illogical, even ridiculous. Okay, the technique changed, the concept changed. We must use more logical terminologies. I proposed this terminology, sinus bone augmentation, SBA. And when we try crestally, it is CSBA. When we do lateral sinus surgery, it is LSBA. Sometimes we can do both, that is CLSBA. So, using this terminology, we can simply describe method, tool, and the material in your chart. Hydro lifting system. This is a really powerful tool to separate the membrane.
It's a real game changer, wasn't it?
This
Casket.
device, without understand the importance of hydro lifting.
This is way before the time of the
I found that
Densabur.
this is a game changer of sinus bone augmentation surgery. we can separate membrane as we
And
want.
we teach this at
We can
our
control membrane
comprehensive
separation
residency program
with a
every
higher
year.
amount of cell line.
We
Okay?
teach them both,
It is very
the
safe.
dense upper technique and
Yeah.
cascade technique. Because I think as a dentist, beginner dentist, you should know both. You should know both, because
Then
they're slightly
I will
different.
show an example of CSP surgery using the hydrolytic system.
Hey, Michael.
Here is a 27 implant with a CSP surgery case. I performed the surgery, and my colleague
Sang-woong, Dr. Kim Sang-woong, he's one of the leading prosthodontists in South Korea.
Dr. Kim, his prosthodontist, performed restoration. The keyword of surgery is delayed implant surgery, CSPA surgery, flapless surgery, no bone graft, implant on 27.
If you guys have any
Okay,
question,
it was,
don't be shy. You can
51
interrupt me.
years old female patient who planned to extract 27. Okay, I didn't perform the immediate implant surgery. I just tried delayed implant surgery. After extraction, I just wait. Okay, this is 3 months and 2 weeks after the extraction. In panoramic radiography, the extraction site looks well healed, and I measured the remaining bone height. It was about 5 millimeters.
Second molars are a difficult area to work on.
Clinically,
You just cannot
the
see.
lip looks wide and broad.
The field of
Sufficient
visual is so limited.
So I can do flapless surgery. In CT view, remaining bone height looks about 5 millimeter. And,
Maybe less, right?
The buccopalatal distance was 11.9 millimeter.
That's
Okay,
sufficient.
Not bad. My plan, I will perform left CSBA using the casket with the normal cell line, without graft.
Without grafting.
And I will place 4.5 by 10 millimeter implant at that site. That's my plan.
So what he's saying is that he can do that because implant is going to act like a tenting, right? It's not always necessary to put graft material. Like for me nowadays, majority of my crystal approach when I'm doing a casket, I only put PRF gel in there. I don't put graft material. So my sinus lifting is very cost effective these days.
Twist drill with a 6 millimeter stopper and gradually change the diameter and the stoppers. Finally, I can pass the sinus floor with a
This is one of the
3.3
easiest
drill with the 9
sinus
millimeter stopper.
technique
And
that I
then
can teach
I separate
any
the
beginner
membrane
doctors,
using
right?
the hydrolytic system.
Cascade system.
Next, place the implant without graft. Okay.
So this was one of the key feature that I really liked when I was switching over from Nobel to Hyosin. Now there are a lot of implants with this type of thread design, including Megagen NE1 and that. But at that time, they were one of the only implant systems that had a linear taper system, linear taper with a thread all the way to the top. That means that even though you have only like 3 millimeter crestal bone, you have enough thread, aggressive thread to engage without dropping into the sinus. That was important.
At the control depths, I connected healing abutment. Okay, depth controlled about 4 millimeter, and insertion torque was 20 Newton centimeter. ISQ value 6370. Not bad. Okay, look at the video of this case. Okay, it was flapless surgery.
It's hard to see, right?
Directly, I started drilling. I don't do punch out, just do drill.
He said he doesn't do a punch out. It's not necessary. The research has proven that you don't, even if a little bit of a tissue gets inside, the osteotomy side is,
With cast drill,
it's insignificant.
it was not passed. Then I will advance drill.
So it's
until
1
it
millimeter at a
passed the
time,
floor.
right? That's what makes the casket so beginner user friendly,
I'm checking with a 9 millimeter stopper. It is not passed.
because
yet.
you cannot over drill it.
With a 3.3 cast drill,
And these drills have an inverted cone
advanced,
so that
1 millimeter further,
it does
and
not tear the membrane
found
as easily.
It was passed. Bersol was
You see that right
was
there?
done.
Water's
It was
coming
not
out.
perforated. So I
There's no air.
decide to separate membrane with a hydrolytic system. Okay, as you see,
So that when you aspirate, you
membrane
see that?
separated very
Blood comes out,
successfully
but no
without
air come out.
perforation. Look at the color change.
That's how you
It's a sign
know
of
that it's a
successful
successful
membrane
sinus lifting.
separation.
Yeah.
Then I place the implant. Okay. As you see in this video, the procedure is very simple.
These surgeons,
Okay.
gosu surgeons in South Korea,
usually
rarely they
stand,
use
3
surgical
to
stand or
5
surgical
minutes
guide.
to,
And they
place
freehand
implant,
very, very well.
with this tool. Okay. Now I have to control depth of implant. Watching
Yeah, that red is sign of relief. That's right.
Please watch the laser marking system on fixed drive. The top laser marking is 5 millimeter. So usually I place about 4 millimeter. Okay. At the depth control,
Depth
I
control
will
very
correct the
important.
healing abutment. Okay, I'm checking here. ISQ value 67, 70, not bad. I can do one stage surgery. Okay, so I connected the healing abutment and then finished the surgery. Okay, this is POP radiography. Okay, it was done very successfully,
Beautiful.
and my colleague Dr. Kim continued proceeds.
Obviously, Dr. Kim Prasanna, he prefers open tray, but because of the posterior second molar, it's hard to do an open tray, right? Because of limited opening.
2 months and 2 weeks
So he used a
later,
closed tray.
ISQ value was checked 78. Good.
That's
so
good value.
he took impression and fabricated restoration with a customized abutment
SCRC.
with full zirconia.
Screw cement
Crown,
retained custom crown,
And then it was
SCRC.
relieved. Okay, so case finished like this.
Beautiful emergence profile.
About 7 months and 3 weeks after delivering a final restoration, this is follow-up. Okay, and this is radiographic view. Look at the change of sinus flow. Okay, here this is original remaining bone, and 10 months after the operation, look at the new bone formation in the sinus. I didn't graft it. Okay, just with hydro lifting, we can make bone. The procedure of lateral sinus bone augmentation surgery is not simple. It is complex. From incision, window osteotomy, or membrane separation, drilling, fixed insulation, bone graft, flap close, every step requires optimal instruments and final surgical technique. Okay? To do this well, you must optimize, standardize, and simplify every step. Okay? I hope to show you the most fine sinus bone augmentation surgery in the world.
Most refined. He's about to show his
And one more,
contribution.
my contribution is introduction of CSI technique. Here is the case. Patient missed 26 and 27, and I performed the lateral sinus bone augmentation surgery with a graft material. Maybe it was my record of lateral sinus surgery. I spent only 10 minutes. Only 10 minutes. That time, I used allograft. Okay, this graft material. During the
Very
bone
popular.
grafting, there was an accident. My step dropped bone graft material during the unpacking.
Oh,
So I let her open the cap and pour the graft material on the bowl and used that graft material. Okay. After the surgery, 1 week later, 8 days later, patient complained of thick nasal discharge with halitosis.
no way. Got
This
infected.
means that patient
Just from
experienced,
drop the
post-operative
package on the
acute
ground.
sinusitis. I think
Really?
there was contamination of graft material. Anyway, what should you do when we experience such an accident? It is really trouble. Okay.
Oftentimes you have to remove the
What should you
implant.
do? Okay. Many dentists are embarrassed in such a situation. I have an idea to solve the problem very easily. Okay. This is CSI technique, which is introduced by me. Okay. With a double needle, I can clean the sinus. Okay, like this. Okay, one side suction, one side irrigation. syringe. Okay, we circulate the saline or chlorhexidine inside the sinus and clean the sinus. Okay?
Oh,
I didn't
wow.
open the flap.
With-
With the flap opening, through the window hole, I penetrated the needles and then cleaned the sinus. After
Really?
this, what happened?
Okay, guys. You know what? That was worth the whole show tonight. I never seen that before. That is brilliant. Why is this so brilliant? CSI technique. I don't know 100% how it really works, but from what he's mentioning here, because oftentimes this is the problem, right? When the infection is contained inside, it's draining. We used to just irrigate it through it. But when you irrigate it, what happens is pressure builds up, right? Pressure builds up because it's contained space. So we cannot really, just do irrigation using a one syringe. But what he's saying is that you need to equilibrate the pressure. As much as you're irrigating, there should be a minus pressure by suctioning it out. So he's using this double needled, one in with the saline, one suctioning out. That's brilliant.
Following sequence. Here I performed the lateral sinus surgery. Okay, that time graft material positioned like this. Then 8 days later, patient experienced acute sinusitis. Then graft material swelled like this. Okay, I performed the CSI technique, and after CSI technique, 4 days after CSI technique, patient symptom subsided.
This is also important too. A lot of people, beginners, when you do a lateral window, and the patient calls back 3 days later, it's swollen up. It's swollen up to my eyes, and a lot of doctors think that they have a sinusitis. 9 out of 8 times, sinusitis, sinus infection after the lateral window or whatever the sinus grafting, it doesn't happen within 1 week, guys. That's very, very rare. Okay, but when it does happen, it's typical, in my experience too, is after 1 week. It's almost like this. Swelling happens. That's because of the large flap, because you have to do a big flap for the lateral access, and that causes swelling. That's normal. The patient's going to swell up. Chimmak, Alvin, Simon, Theodore, you choose one, right? That's my line. And then the swelling will start to go down after 3rd or 4th day. And by 5th day or 6th day, they're feeling good. And then in the 2nd week, right, as the ostium closes up and sinus gets infected, that's when they have a 2nd wave of swelling, and that's the telltale sign.
Okay. Then 6 months later and 7 months later, okay, you can see very
He rescued that case,
condition. So case finished.
That's impressive.
Okay. Now I want to introduce the anniversary case of 5,000th maxillary sinus surgery. It was also worked with Dr. Kim. I performed the surgery. He performed restorative procedures. Okay. Keyword of surgery is immediate implant surgery, early implant surgery, pathology in the sinus, CSP surgery, LSP surgery, early second stage surgery, depth control during immediate implant surgery.
Very similar, eh?
During
Yeah.
second stage surgery.
Similar to articulocentesis. That's what I was thinking too.
Okay. It was 61
But
years
never
old
seen it used with the sinus
complained
infection.
the discomfort of chewing. Okay. He has many problems at posterior teeth. We tried step by step. Okay. First, we decided to perform implant on right mandible because of masticatory function must be rehabilitated soon. My first plan was extract 45 and 48 and place implant at right mandible. Okay, I will extract these teeth and then I will place the 3 implant on the right mandible. Then patient can use right side. Left side, the periodontitis was very severe. Look at the gingival recession also. Bone is very poor. stable condition, I must do delayed implant surgery at this site. So during the first surgery, I will just extract that teeth. Okay, mandibular implant surgery was done simply, and then I extracted the left second premolar and second molar, just extracted. Okay, in such a situation, just simply extract without the grace period or no need socket preservation. I just let it heal. Okay, this is the result of mandibular implants. It was finished 3 months later. Then, 3 months after the extraction of left teeth, I tried lateral sinus surgery with implant. Look at the healing, not bad.
It's amazing how body can heal.
Radiography, bone looks not sufficient here. Let's trace. This is the maxillary sinus and alveolar bone, but I cannot see the cortical bone at crest at that point. Here, this is the posterior.
There might be no bone
number
there.
27 site, I cannot see the demarcation between bone and soft tissue. It is not clear. And here is soft tissue coverage. Anyway, I will do lateral surgery and I will place 3 implants at the site. In CT view, I found pathology in the sinus. Okay, here look. 26, 27. 26 looks limited bone height about 2 millimeter, less than 2 millimeter, and 27 where bone height looks less than 1 millimeter and pathology in the sinus. What is the nature of this pathology? Okay, there are several possibilities. I have to rule out antral pseudocyst, rule out mucous retention cyst, and rule out membrane thickening. Okay, it is difficult to distinguish just with radiography.
Can't tell.
And there's no exact guideline for diagnosis and the management of sinus pathology.
If somebody says to you, by looking at the CT scan, they can tell what the definitive diagnosis is, they're lying to you. Okay? They're lying to you. Without assessing symptoms and the sign and looking at the osteum blockage or not, without doing all that homework, and just by looking at one slice and saying that that's a sinusitis, you can't do it. Okay?
I prepared a lecture. Okay, this is preoperative diagnosis of sinus pathologies and their management and CSI technique for sinusitis. Okay, it is total 6 hours lecture. I'm planning webinar in this month, 13 and 20, but it's just in Korean version. If you request, I will plan and present with the English version.
Maybe I'll message him and have one for English version, but it's a lot of things. It's hard to prepare for him, right? Because that's not his primary language.
And then plan the 3 implant. Okay, open the flap as a routine with a routine flap design. Expose the lateral sinus wall. It looks very thin, and the thickness looks not uniform. Anyway, design the window and detach the bone window. Look at the color of membrane. This abnormal condition. So I tried explorative aspiration.
I think this pathology looks like a pathology to me.
There are possibility of there are several possibilities. Sometimes you cannot aspirate. Sometimes you can aspirate fluid or thick mucus. This time it was exudate. It is yellowish fluid. Maybe this is good news. Okay.
Retention cyst.
The pathology means antral pseudocyst. It's easy to handle. I separate membrane and then prep the holes. Look at the remaining bone height. 26 2 millimeter, 27.5 millimeter only. Here I prepare the bone graft material. It is a xenograft. It's very nice material. Recently, I only use this one for sinus surgery because of the efficacy of new bone formation. The speed is very fast and very effective.
I think he might be referring to the
Here,
duck graft,
at the
the
bone graft,
porcine one,
3
porcine
implants
xeno,
were placed.
not the cow.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure, but it's very popular in
Well,
South Korea.
because of too less remaining bone height, I cannot get a strong primary stability at 26 and 27.
Half millimeter.
5 Newton centimeter and ice cube value 37, 37, very weak. 3 Newton centimeter,
3 Newton.
22, very weak primary stability.
3.
So
Not
I
30.
must connect the cover screws at that site. Okay. Finish the graft.
It's
reposition the
amazing
bone
how
window
body
and
heals, right?
approximate the flap like this. Look at
It's
the video.
almost
please.
mobile.
Okay. With the number 12 surgical blade, I made a posterior vertical lateral incision.
Is it secondary
and
surgery?
palatally placed the crestal incision. Okay. Touch the bone and move slowly.
So I guess it's a re-entry after 4 or 5
With
months.
the number 15 blade, I made a vertical incision. Okay. After incision,
I prefer a remote
I elevated
incision.
the flap using
personal preference.
P24G periosteal
That's my
elevator.
favorite instrument,
During the
P24G.
surgery,
I call it
I'm
George.
using very simple instrument, but it is essential instrument. Minnesota retractor is my favorite instrument. Okay, me and my staff, my assistant, hold Minnesota retractor during the surgery and use that fine periosteal elevator.
P24G
Okay.
George.
Using these tools, I can make good surgical field and elevate flap very quickly and very cleanly. In my mind, I have image of a sinus, and then I designed the window and scored the bone window using number 2.
Is this the same case or is it a different case
small
now?
round burr. The thickness of sinus wall looks
Probably a new case now, right?
heterogeneous. Okay, different thickness.
So
I
he's
must
using a very small
control
drill,
depth of
carbide drill, but you
osteotomy
gotta be careful when using this technique because if you're a beginner, you can tear it.
carefully.
Because he's using a small drill so that he can
Score
salvage the
windows.
buccal wall so he can reposition it after the lateral windowing is done.
Do not try to infracture the window during lateral surgery. Better to wall up the window. That's more convenient and useful.
So what he's referring to is that don't push it, and the old technique of a Carl Misch was to punch it in the wall and use that as a part of the roof of the sinus space.
Contract and keep
But
this
what he's saying
window
is that save that.
inside the normal cell line.
And Professor Son also does a similar like Dr. Cho. He saves it as well and it puts
The
it
color
back.
looks yellowish, opaque yellowish. This means that it is abnormal condition. I'm trying to aspiration. Okay. It was yellowish fluid.
Good night, Gene.
It was a yellowish fluid. This means that the pathology in the sinus was antral pseudocyst. Don't worry about antral pseudocyst.
Yeah, clear fluid is not really a problem.
And then
Yeah.
continue
Yeah.
operation.
You don't
I'm
abort that.
separating sinus membrane using my favorite.
Yeah, Peter, I think you're right. I think it
membrane
might be the same
element.
case.
Okay, it was invented by myself, and only a single instrument. I
Well,
can
that's
finish
his own
every
instrument design.
Membrane separation.
He just says that he only used this
From
one.
this
That looks like a freer instrument,
Medial and the medial.
but smaller.
Okay. Membrane separation is key of sinus bone formation. So you must separate membrane wide and sufficiently.
Yeah, you gotta go all the way to the medial wall as well to be
After membrane
effective.
separation, carefully mark the entry point. Number 5, about 5 millimeter away from number 4. Okay. It looks a little
Total
bit
brain
narrow,
guided.
so I must move the two palatally, and then
Yes, narrower the crestal ridge. You want to preferentially stay to the
mark
palatal.
number 6 implant position. Then about 10 millimeter away, that's the second molar position.
Yeah, he eyeballs it really well.
Okay. Correct osteotomy with drill. Keep in mind the path of implant you must mimic the natural tooth root axis.
Parallel to the 4.
In this case, I cannot keep the path well because of interference of anterior tooth. Okay, I'm checking position and path with the parallel pins.
And what he does is he has to ask the patient to bite down gently.
Okay,
Central
position of
occlusion.
implant is very important.
And he wants
You must
that to be directing to the opposing functional cusp.
and select the implant position. It should be center of final restoration. I'm checking the penetration of floor. I'm using drill extension to elongate the drill to avoid the interference. Okay, and maintain the path a little bit medially. Final drill was used. And number 6 and 7, bone height was very limited. I controlled the drill depth carefully.
He wants to under-prep that a little bit.
And it was under preparation.
Yeah, of course.
To get stability. Here I grafting genograft. Okay.
I think it's that porcine pig bone.
Maybe syringe type is more convenient, but this graft multibottle type, I must use bone carrier. Okay.
Of course, in my practice, I'll be mixing that with the PRF, right?
Bone graft itself is not so important in reality. Even it is not necessary during the sinus surgery, especially when patient has narrow sinus, no need bone graft. Okay. In wide sinus, we must graft the material to support the membrane, to keep the space. Okay. Here I place the 3 implants, 4 by 10, 4.5 by 10 at molar site.
Yeah. So Sang was saying that no need to
the
seal the.
bone height was 2 millimeter and 0.5 millimeter.
If the hole is very
I like
small,
to place
when you're
implants
removing it, you don't need to
simultaneously
really
always.
seal it. I just put a PRF a little layer before I put the stuff in. But if the hole is bigger, yeah, you need to seal it.
Of simultaneous implant installation. So I like to place implant simultaneously, almost always.
Yeah, whenever we can, because it helps to maintain the
Be careful not to
sinus
drop
membrane up.
implant inside of the sinus.
So what he's saying is, but don't in this case don't go too much then, because you're going to end up dropping down,
Disconnect mount.
drop into the sinus, and then you gotta go rescue it.
One more thing is that please use implant with a mount. Without mount, we cannot control path of implant.
See, that's the one thing I miss about Hyosin implant, is their implant used to come with the mounts, and for me, majority of my implant cases are multiple, and having the mount really does help. But the Megagen implants don't come with the mount, so what I did was I saved a bunch of mounts from Hyosin previously. I got like a few hundred of them, and I'm just reusing them, sterilizing.
And the last implant very weak.
Oh my goodness,
Spins
it's spinning.
even with a
Finger.
free hand. I check the ISQ value.
37. Obviously, he's not going to put a healing abutment, right?
It's weak at the last implant. So I decided to connect cover screw at molar implant. And connected the healing abutment at second premolar site.
When you're doing these cases where the stability is so low, you want to tell the patient not to use a partial denture, if possible, in that area, because sometimes the partial denture pressure on it can be just enough to deviate the implant position and end up failing.
Okay, I must be very careful. And then, okay, finish grafting. Okay, it's just loose grafting.
Yeah, never
Compact
overpack
grafting.
sinus graft, guys. There's no need.
Just feel the space.
Yeah. Very loose, very loose. So when I'm missing PRF,
At the graft,
I'm using more
sometimes I
PRF
like
to
cover that
particular
area with
graft
a collagen
ratio.
membrane, but I don't use collagen membrane. It is not necessary. Instead, I will finish
Yeah.
like this. Not yet. Yeah.
I think he's going to put back the wall back in, right?
Wrapping.
Now, do you really need to put the wall back in? No, you don't. I rarely put the wall back in, and they still form.
Position the bone window.
You might get a little bit
That's
of
enough.
a dip,
Don't need
but that's not where the
powder.
implants are, so clinically it's not that
With the
important.
collagen membrane.
But the
And then
the
approximate flap.
but what I do is I put a PRF membrane over top of it. Is it necessary?
I like to use
Not
audio
probably
nylon.
not.
Okay. Let's speed up.
He's using a monofilament. I think it looks like a nylon. 5.0.
Yeah. With interrupted suture or cross-metric suture, I continue the flap approximation. Okay. Here, I like to use
Always suture in the mesial
cross-metric
first,
suture.
because you don't want the gap to open up in an aesthetic zone. So that's the mesial, and then do the distal, and then bunch of sutures in between.
To speed up, I use the cross-metric suture at the site.
So basically it's a double loop. He's using double loop technique
And
for
let your assistant hold the Minnesota retractor during the suturing for a better surgical site. Okay, this is also cross-metric suture.
A double loop suture is so useful. Almost all my suturing, 90% of times I use a double loops of some sort of a variation. You know, so cross mattress, internal mattress, vertical mattress, they're all variation of double
Okay, let's
loops.
finish. Here, this is POP.
Beautiful.
As I planned,
Beautiful.
I can
Let's shoot him
apply
some heart. Thumbs and heart. Shoot. Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
2 months and 2 weeks after operation, I performed the second stage surgery. Although it looks too early, I have many good experience after using that graft material. I tried
2 months. What's going on here? Post-op 2 months, and he's gonna go in.
the early second stage surgery. ISQ value increased to 66, 60 and 66, and 59 to 60. Okay?
Even in 2 months.
Originally very weak, but it increased like that.
That's impressive.
Well, I found another problem during the second stage surgery. It was insufficient depth of 26 implants.
It's not deep enough.
Generally speaking, I can say that depth of implant very important, and you must place implant sufficiently deep. How much? Okay, about 4 millimeter.
Okay, this is interesting. He couldn't put this implant deep enough because there was not enough bone. Because if he wanted to put it deeper, he would have lost it. So he kind of hung it in there with a couple of threads exposed at the time of the surgery. So what he's trying to do now, I'm assuming that he's going, in 2 months after the initial surgery, he's going to go in and depth control, meaning that torque that implant
So this
in.
case, it is
Oh my
insufficient.
God.
I decided to control depth of implant. It was just 1.5 millimeter.
Oh
So,
goodness.
I turned the implant. and
He's gonna
controlled the
lose
depth
it.
to 4 millimeter. Okay.
Why 4? Thomas
Then
Linkuvicius,
I
okay?
value decreased again.
Zero
okay?
bone loss concept, that's
But
why,
don't,
right?
don't worry about this. You can wait. Look at the second stage surgery. Usually I don't open flap during the second stage surgery in such types of implant, internal bone level implant with a high speed round the burn.
Interesting.
Okay,
No tissue
penetrate the
punch.
Tissue, gingiva.
So while he's actually drilling, he's feeling for the
Then
central
identify the cover screw.
cover screw location.
Then
I know that. Oh
next
my God.
cover screw.
All right. Let's shoot him some heart. Give him, send him some love. Or you know what I should do? I should shoot him to
It is very
impressed.
simple, second
surprised
surgery,
sticker.
check ISQ value 60. Not bad. Okay. And then connect the healing abutment.
I'm learning
Usually
something
I connect
tonight, guys.
6
I'm
or
learning
5.
something.
This means that diameter 6 mm, gingival height 5 mm healing abutment. But exposed too much. It exposed more than 3 mm.
So what he's saying is it's not deep enough.
Depth of implant looks just less than 2 mm.
Because typically in a molar, okay, the most common healing abutment is either 5x5 or 6x5, meaning 6 mm diameter and 5 mm depth. 5 mm height healing abutment is the most commonly used healing abutment in the posterior maxilla, because when you put the healing abutment in and the tissue heals and you have about 1 millimeter peeking out of the crest of the gingiva, that means you have a 4 millimeter below the height of the crest of the gingiva. And according to Thomas Linkevicius, it's a rule of the 4 millimeter. And when you have an implant platform 4 millimeter below the crest of the height of the gingiva, that is enough biological barrier to prevent from bone losses over time. That's the idea, theory behind it, right? So what he's saying is that that's not deep enough, and he might end up losing more bone over the years. So now he's going to try to push that implant in after only 2 months.
And move the position. And then connect the hex drive to disconnect cover screw.
Paul, did he use a diamond burr? No, I believe he used a carbide. But you can use diamond. It doesn't really matter. Drill's a drill.
Removal of cover screw, I can check ISQ value. When it is difficult to remove cover screw, use that instrument. It is hemostat.
It's a microhemostat.
With a tissue forceps, very difficult to remove. But with
You
hemostat,
can literally grab one tip of it, grab the center where the driver hole is. Very small one. 59.
and correct the healing abutment.
So 2 months later, it's almost 60 ISQ reading. That's pretty impressive, because he only had like 2 millimeters of a crestal bone, native bone, when he did a surgery 2 months ago, right?
Okay. And look at the before and after second stage surgery. Look at the depth control. Originally, it looks like this.
He pushed it in.
Too less bone height, I cannot place implant sufficiently during the first stage surgery. Gingival thickness was thin, so that's the problem. Okay, so I decided to push in the implant during the second stage surgery. Like
So
this.
the depth of the implant is not based
made
on
the
where
bone.
the bone is, guys.
Although
It's
just
based
2 months
on
and
where
2
the
weeks
crestal
later,
tissue
so,
height is.
It is not strong, but I carefully control the
And the
depth.
same theory
If I
goes when
wait
I'm doing a
more than 5
flapless
months,
surgery,
still
right?
I can get,
I need to put the
enough,
implant 4
stability.
millimeter
At
below
the time,
the crest of
it
the
was weak.
soft tissue.
Okay. Another 2 months after the depth control, what happened? Look at the ISQ value. Okay, it reached to 70-70.
Wow.
And the last implant 75.
So within that 2 months after he countersunk it,
Okay.
he's still able to reach
And
70
in this,
ISQ.
chart, we can see that the ISQ value change. Okay, 25
That's
was
impressive.
strong enough originally.
The man's
and
got
26,
balls.
It was very weak.
Balls of titanium.
Also 27 very weak. But 2 months and 2 weeks later, I can get moderate primary stability, moderate ISQ value, and 26 was pushed in. So it decreased 30 to 37, 47. But 2 months later, what happened? You can see it increased to 70.
So here, I'll explain a little bit, guys, okay? Initially, when he did 2.6, okay, first of all, he couldn't countersink it because he didn't have enough bone. Because if he did countersink it 4 mm below the tissue, he would have lost the implant. So with deliberately, he barely hang it in there, and that he only had initial torque of 5 and initial ISQ of 37, which is really low, right? Many of us will probably not place the implant, but he did. And 2 months later, re-entry, he does checks the ISQ. He got 60 and 60, which is decent for 2 months only healing. However, in that same appointment, he countersunk that in, additional 2 mm in, and when he checked ISQ, it was dropped down to 37, of course, right? However, 2 months after that, he went and did another ISQ. It jumped back up to 70/70.
Total 5 months
Bone can heal
after
pretty
operation,
fast.
ISQ value exceed 75. So I can take impression.
What you have to understand is this is not a xenograft. This is not, okay, this is a xenograft, but this is not a cow bone. I'm 100% sure, 99.99%, this is da graft. It's called da graft, and it's so popular in South Korea. It is available in Canada too now. Megagen carries it. It's a porcine bone. It's a xenograft, porcine, but unlike the biowas, the resorption rate is much quicker than biowas. Biowas, they almost don't resorb. Okay, it takes a long time. But this one, porcine bone, they behave very similar to an allograft cansalis, which is a higher. Both have a very high turnover rate.
Took impression with digital
Hey, Amin.
scanning, and this is final restoration. Customized abutment.
The work of
beautiful
Dr. Kim,
zirconia
the
crown.
prosthodontist.
He delivered restoration like this.
He fused it obviously because of the bone quality, right? Long-term bone quality. See that? He didn't fuse all 3. He only fused 2. Why is that? Fusing 2 in a conical connection, you can get away with it. But trying to fuse all 3 at a conical connection direct to the implant, I don't care how good the lab is, it's hard to get a passive fit. So this is another reason why in our office, our prosthetic team, we do the same thing. We don't fuse all 3 of them. We break the contact and then we fuse 2 at the back.
It looks good margin and well done. Then on the right side, patient also felt discomfort. She want to do implant at the site also. Okay, this is the preoperative CT view. Okay.
Sang, what do you like? You said I use that too, and I really like it. I don't know what you like.
I can do immediate implant surgery during after extraction here.
No, he's going to showcase some of the immediate implant.
I extracted premolar and simply placed the implanter. But maybe it was my mistake. I tried the flap wrist surgery at
Oh yeah,
15,
yeah, that
but
graft. Yeah.
It was a narrow reach. I found that
So DA graft, DAGRAF, da graft.
I found a mistake in the position. I must move the position to lingually.
Yeah, Megagen carries it.
And then
I feel I've used quite a bit. It feels very similar to the allograft,
placed implant, one more implant
cancellous
here.
allograft.
And the molar teeth were extracted. And again, I used the crystal sinus kit. And at the pass floor, separate membrane,
Yep,
placed implanter, and repeated. Okay.
very predictable with a casket.
Last implant site, same procedure was done, and total 4 implants were well placed. Okay, well, look at the ISQ value. Every implant has
Different.
nice primary stability and strong ISQ value. So I can finish the surgery with a 1-stage surgery. Healing abutments were corrected like this.
He only had a 15 Newton centimeter and a couple of them. He still plays healing abutment, right?
It's a POP radiography.
See, in South Korea, when you have more than 10 or 15 Newton centimeter torque, they consider that good initial torque.
I found
Different standardization. They're very brave.
So change to longer healing abutment.
Yeah.
Like this.
Instead of 5.5, you put I think a 4x7. I think, yeah.
I'm trying to extract the teeth. Okay. Extract teeth. And then premolar was also extracted. This immediate implant surgery
Almost done
not
with
so
the
difficult. Okay. Bone height was
the
not
video.
bad at the site. Simply finish the drilling.
And Dr. Cho does a lot of flapless surgery. That's how he's able to do 50 implants per day.
And flap wrist surgery was tried at second premolar, but it was not good because reach was narrow. During the drilling, I found something wrong, so I decided to open flap.
He has to flap it.
Okay, better to open flap in such a situation.
I mean, it comes with experience, right?
During the checking, I found it penetrated the buccal wall this side to open flap at this side here. I must move palatally.
You know, there's an old saying.
Okay,
Stay
correct
palatal, good
position,
things will happen.
And use the cast
Go
drill.
buckly, bad things will happen, right?
Bone height was not sufficient at this site, so it was passed. Here I seal the hole.
Dr. Cho has an unbelievable sense
What
of
should you do?
tactile.
I have a technique when I cannot seal the hole well, it skipped. I shoot the cell line to separate membrane at that situation and place the implant.
You know what he said? I think you guys probably lost that, right? He positioned the osteotomy palate, separate position the palate, right? So what happens is on the buccal, there's a seal is broken. So he needs to lift it, but the seal is broken, okay, right? So what happened is, how are you going to lift the sinus with the hydraulic when the buccal seal is broken? Because the whole system of casket based on seal and pressurize it. So what he says, he has his own technique. It's called the shoot. Shoot the hydraulic. So instead of gentle pressure, he's doing a burst of a pressure at several times, right? So that's what it's called. Shoot the saline.
Okay. After placing implant, I extracted the molar piece. Okay. And then again, I tried the crestal sinus bone augmentation surgery. Okay, mark the entry point.
Now he's going to
septal.
septal, right? For the first molar area, he's doing the septal.
Gradually advance the drill to penetrate sinus floor. We don't know exact height of the bone. You must do trial and errors.
Yeah.
Okay. Now it passed, so I can do hydrolifting to separate membrane and then place the implant. I didn't graft it in this case also.
Yeah. So a lot of time crestal
Because
cases.
the remaining bone height was not bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
More and more of a crestal cases, I don't use graft material. I just put a PRF and that's
Last
it.
implant, same situation. I will pass the floor with a crestal sinus surgery tool. Okay, I will try advance drill until it passes the floor. After pass, separate membrane, place implant. That's all. Very simple. Usually, my surgery is very simple and speedy. I don't do graft actively. I don't use membrane actively. If it is necessary, I will do. But when it is not necessary, I don't do that. In such a situation, it is not necessary. Okay.
Yeah, Amin, I've been saying that deeper in palatal, even in 2006.
And again, I tried hydrolifting. Okay, it looks successful.
Yeah, see that? The flash coming out? Yeah, that means it's successful lift. If the bubble comes out, that means there's a tear. He's dancing the depth control.
Of implant position and pass.
I love mounts. I miss mounts.
Use implant with mount. That's the best way to place implant well. Control depth. Carefully check ISQ value, and then connect the healing abutment. Every implant has strong primary stability, so that's why I did a simple healing abutment connection and approximated the flap. This is POP, radiography,
Beautiful placement.
implant, and good pass.
Not bad for a guy with a brain-guided free hand, eh?
CT view. This is CT view. Implant position at center of the ridge with a nice hydrolifting. Okay, 2 months and 2 weeks after the placing implant, it was good condition. ISQ value looks good. So, Dr. Kim continued restorative procedure.
Paul was asking no graft at all, right? Right here. Yeah. So again, he's trying to stay true to the principle of sinus bone regeneration. The space is maintained by initially by the hydraulic, right? You lift. So some of the doctors say, how much do you put the bone when you put a 1 cc or 2 cc of water, hydraulic? my answer is it doesn't matter, guys. It doesn't really matter. The amount of the bone that you put in to the amount of the lift that you do, it doesn't have to match. It totally is not related. You want to lift enough, put the implant in. Initially, lifting is sustained by the water, saline, and blood, right? Blood, okay? Because saline is going to be resorbed by inside the sinus by the body, and the blood is going to accumulate and it's going to form a clot. However, over the time, it's going to shrink down, okay? Shrink down. As the blood clot consolidates and osteoblast cells start to lay down the bone, and it's going to be tented by the fixture that's underneath it, okay? So in a crustal approach, it's not really that necessary.
Okay, took impression and fabricated final restoration.
Let's give him a heart. Thumbs and heart. Dr. Cho, you did really good.
Then
You got my
it is
respect.
delivered in the patient mouth like this. Okay, it is full zirconia crowns. Okay. Here,
Paul was asking at the immediate extraction site. If the blood clot is there, in theory, no. If you have a wall there, in theory, no. What do I put in there? I put something in there just to make me feel better. So I put PRF and maybe a little mix of cancellous bone, but I don't overpack it. If the soft tissue closure is good, it's very predictable healing.
checking of margins. Okay, follow up.
What he will need over here, though, he's going to need a free gingival graft on the quadrant 4. He definitely needs a sutureless FGG, sutureless.
Good condition. And patient want to change the another restoration because she satisfied the other restorations. Okay, look at CT view here. Well, on the right side, it is just 5 months after placing implant, so there's no definite cortical layer at sinus floor, but I'm sure that newborn will form and we expect a nice result. Okay. Here is panoramic radiography. Follow up 5 months after the delivering final restoration, lower 1 year and 3 months. Okay. Left side 9 months and 1 week after delivering the final restoration. It looks very stable condition. So this is the before and after surgery. Okay?
Beautiful surgery, beautiful
Changed
prosthetic.
much, okay? Not only functionally but also aesthetically, it improved much. So patient,
Hi, James.
Satisfied 100%. Epilogue.
Yes, we're coming to an
our
end.
practice, knowledge, experiences, insight, and challenges are necessary.
This is his philosophy.
Our practice will be improved by taking knowledges and many experiences. Sometimes smart insight or brave challenge will make us jump to the next level.
It's a leap.
Okay? Repeating this sequence, you will advance. Okay. I spent about 24 years to reach this level. Nowadays, I like to listen other speakers' lecture. Sometimes I can take some useful messages from them, but sometimes I feel sorry because some speakers repeat all the process just based on their knowledge and experiences. Here I prepared the express cable car for you.
Cute.
To my level. At Dental Bean website, I present a full lecture about sinus bone augmentation surgery. These lectures are essence of my knowledge and the concept about sinus surgery from A to G. Okay? This lecture is exact cable car which guide you.
I'm not sure if this is in English though. I think it's in Korean.
My lecture will be helpful not only
I'm going to
for
check it out
beginners, but also
and
for
ask if they have it in
experienced
English
dentists,
for you guys.
especially to speakers. Okay. Last year, I must cancel all my schedule at overseas. Okay. I wish the COVID-19 ends soon and hope to meet you face-to-face in
Dr. Cho is not only an amazing
close.
surgeon, but such a humble
Until then,
surgeon. I've
be
had a chance to
careful
have a dinner with
and
them
be
and spend
safe.
some time with them,
Okay,
and we still
everyone,
communicate
Happy
from
New
each
Year,
other,
and
private
thank you for
messaging and
listening.
texting, and we have a mutual respect for them. You guys, let's give them a round of applause. Okay, everybody, shoot some heart. Okay, shoot some thumbs and shoot some heart, and send them some love, guys. Okay, all right. That was amazing. Amazing presentation, celebrating his 5,000 sinus lifting. This is the thing. He says it took him 25 years to get there. But you know what the reality is? I know a lot of surgeons who's been doing it for 30 years and they never reach that because they don't challenge themselves based on fundamental principle of healing. Okay, all the things that Dr. Cho has shown tonight is not just something grabbed out of the head. Everything is based on his scientific evidence and ISQ reading, and he's documented his cases, right? The best type of research, guys, is your documentation. Your documentation. That's the best research, okay? Taking photos, measuring ISQ, being consistent, okay? I think that's very, very important. All right, you guys, thank you for joining me. It's almost 11:30. Someone's going to have to go to work tomorrow. But this is how I learn, guys, okay? I learn from watching other people. I pick up pearls here and there. And sometimes the real pearl is not what they say, but in between the lines. And I have enough experience to penetrate through it, to pick out those pearls, and hopefully to share with you guys. All right. Fantastic. We do have a study club starting in a few weeks. If you haven't joined, we have going to have an epic study club online, live online surgery demo and lectures, 3 component to it. So those of you guys supporting me, please join. You'll learn a ton, and I'm going to try to bring the best of the online study club this year. So you guys take care and enjoy and stay healthy and stay happy. See you. Bye bye.